You said there is a difference between taking up for your woman and taking care of your woman. And I think that there is something in there. You just slipped this line in there, but it stuck with me. A lot of us haven't been in relationships long enough to be able to recognize the difference of taking care of versus taking up for. And because when we think about what a man is, a black man, I'm gonna protect my woman, and the care versus taking up for, those are two different modes of operation. Sometimes there's overlap, but there is a difference. And when you talked about King Richard, this isn't even just in the relationship context between adult to adult. When we're thinking about our children, he lays down and takes that beating, because by taking that beating, that was the most powerful thing he could do to make sure his daughters did not then get ravaged by the wolves that were on that basketball court. There's a lot for us, I think, to unpack. And the idea about messaging around masculinity, messaging around couplehood and being in a couple, and what it means to be a power couple, what it means to be a power family, right? Because when I saw that Jaden had posted, I was like, I don't want my son taking that message away from this. And, I wouldn't want my child, and my child did see it. We was watching it because I was doing his hair. I was like, oh, snap. And he's 15 years old. And my son was embarrassed. He was like, why would he do that in front of all these white people on national TV? That's embarrassing. And, then I was like, okay, well, we don't really want to concern ourselves about the white gaze, but he was reaching for a sense of, this is shameful behavior based on everything my family has taught me about how we should behave and act with ourselves. This is shameful behavior. And he was embarrassed by that display of lack of control. And I think it's just interesting the way, differentiating between how Will may have felt in front of his peers versus how we are all the public taking this in. If I am a young brother listening to this conversation, I don't know what I would think. I'm not a young brother, but if I were a young brother listening to this conversation, Dr. Ray, would we, and darn it, we ain't even gonna have time to get to Ketanji Brown Jackson. You got a heart out? I know I did this to you the last time. Dang it, we're gonna have to hold Ketanji Brown Jackson for the next one. But if I am a young man listening to this, then what should I take from what I saw? The fact that last night we saw that Will Smith did issue an apology to Chris Rock, who he did not apologize to on that stage. Some might say it's because he's worried about keeping his Oscar. What should I take from having observed all of this if I'm a young Black man trying to figure out what I would do in that situation? And I'm trying to figure out when I take up for my spouse or my partner or my woman, my girl, or my man if I'm in the same gender-loving relationship, and when I take care of my partner.
I mean, look, I think you nailed it with the young king that you're raising. Like, yeah, I had a conversation with my boys about this as well. And of course, they're talking about it at school. Teachers are talking about it.
Yep.
I want people to think about what we're talking about. We're talking about a Black man walking from the crowd to smack another Black man on national TV. Two of our biggest stars ever. What should we be talking about? The fact that this man won an award for playing an amazing role of a Black father raising Black girls. Just think about that juxtaposition. So what do I tell our young kings growing up? Well, I'll tell them the same thing I told my boys. I said, look, if I'm in that moment, you all know wherever we are, I'm protecting mommy and I'm protecting y'all and your grandparents and everybody else. But I also recognize situational awareness and think, are they in physical danger? If the answer is no, calm your emotions down, grown man, and walk away. Now, again, this is over 40-year-old about to have my Jackie Robinson year Ray, right? This is not 22-year-old Ray. I understand that. Right. That's why as my age, I can give that advice back to you. I've been there in situations where I acted in a way that I could have walked away from it. Somebody pulled a gun on me and somebody did something. I wouldn't be sitting there having this conversation with you right now. So what we need is for older men in this situation to give a conversation to younger men the same way we need older women to talk to younger women about how you're going to have to help your man cope with his mental and emotional health, because that's what I've seen with Will, him holding that in, him dealing with that. And also want to note what your son said was profound. That white gaze is real. Would I have probably jerked Chris Rock behind the scenes? Darn right. But you know what? I'm not about to do it on that stage in front of them. I'm not about to give them that dignity. I'm not about to take that away from Packard. I'm not going to take that award away from Questlove. I'm not going to take away that night for the Williams family. And this is the whole point. We expected this from Will Smith. See, I went to college in Memphis. I'm from Tennessee. I watched 3 6 Mafia versus Bone Thugs and Harmony. They got to fighting. I expected that on that versus, right?
Right.
I don't expect. I used to see them walking around the mall. They're cool people. I don't expect that from Will Smith, and that's where it comes back to. Jada should have, I think, done something slightly different to help him become the man we think he is, and vice versa. If Jada was about to do something, Will needed to do something, which I think was probably have a deeper conversation and say, do we really want to have this red table talk? Do we really want to go through this? I'm not stepping on that red table. I'm not doing it.
Listen, I don't want to seat at that table. Dr. Ray, we so appreciate you. I can already tell you have lit up the Twitter sphere. I know there's going to be some questions, some thoughts that people are going to have. 866-801-8255 is the number. We'll take your calls on the other side of the break. I think one of the things I hear from you, Dr. Ray, as we come to the conclusion of our segment, is that sometimes what you should be protecting shouldn't just be personal to you. You should protect Will Packer. You should protect the people in the audience. You should protect the other folks who have come to rely on you. Sometimes protecting the community is more important than protecting your manhood or your womanhood. That's a conversation we'll continue having on the other side of the break. Much more to come on the Lurie Daniel Favors Show. We'll be right back after this.